Hello, KBLA delegation. Tavis Smiley here. On Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech becomes the epicenter of ideas that matter. The Left Coast Forum is bringing together voices that challenge, inspire, and illuminate, with keynote presentations from people like noted economist Richard Wolff, the man who breaks down capitalism in ways that make sense to working folk like you and me, and Dr. Cornel West will be there, the brilliant philosopher and activist who never stops fighting for justice and speaking truth to power and to the powerless, for that matter. So this isn't just another conference. This is where ideas get tested, where the conversations that shape our future begin. Multiple plenary sessions, dynamic speakers, real talk about the issues that impact our communities, and then some good food and a live band. Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech, Left Coast Forum. The event is free and open to the public, but you must register at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can also peep the plenary topics. The future belongs to those who show up and engage. So don't just think about change, be part of the conversation that creates it. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money D. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique the Prima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the move. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique the Prima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Hola, Jumbo Hotep. What's up? I'm Dominique DePrima. This show is called First Things First, and my first thing today and every single day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go. Step to the mic. Let's do this. It's a wealth building Wednesday. I hope you're building your wealth every day, but this is how we do things on First Things First on a Wednesday. So hour one, we look local, what's going on the left coast side of town, Cali business. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive, hot topic, person of interest, someone you would love to meet. And usually it's both. Today I'm excited because my friend, Dr. Noelle Reed, MD, will be joining us. She's a dancer who became a doctor, or a doctor who was a dancer, a yoga instructor, a Pilates teacher, and you might know her from the doctors, you might know her from Married to Medicine. But excited to see her. It's been a minute, and we're going to focus on being well in the middle of the cray-cray. Okay, so we got that. It's a Wealth Building Wednesday. We're going to meet Ms. Linda Lee and find out about her Black-owned, woman-owned business and uplift another opportunity to build wealth in our community. and starting out the day strong, y'all, strong, y'all, strong, with an attorney. I really feel like he should be an official KBLA correspondent. We may have to work on that. He's an abolitionist. He's born and raised in the 2nd District of LA County. He is a graduate of Hampton and Howard School of Law, and he practices criminal defense and civil rights, running Person-Lynn Law Offices since 2013. Attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn is joining me today. Good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning, Dominique. How you doing this morning?
I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm blessed as well, up early, getting to it, the things I love to do.
Indeed. Well, yeah, and practicing the fine art of Black fatherhood, which I love so much for you and for us. Black dads are the best.
I agree. We're out here in the thick of it, and it's amazing because you see how AI, for those that don't have children, you see how AI advances and they just know more. That's how children are. It's like last week they didn't know a word. This week they're giving you advice on the word. And it's like, man, just seeing it in real time is quite amazing.
It is amazing. And the thing about it is, they're better than AI because they also make stuff up that is not delusional. Like they have the most, incredible little imaginations. I love kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, every day at the park or wherever, it's just always something going on in their mind. So it's no time wasted.
Yeah. And I'm sure you're schooling them because, well, that's how you are. And you're a lawyer. So it's funny because I used to always get clowned by my former husband for saying all these big words to my child. He doesn't understand that. Well, if I say it enough, he will.
Exactly. And they will. Their minds can grasp things that we don't think they do until they spit it back to you and like, wow, you understood what I was saying. And yes,
Right.
so
And then,
definitely want them to have a childhood, but ever increasing their intelligence.
yeah, that's a beautiful thing. You can check in if you want to talk. You can check in at 800-920-1580. If you want to chat, you can go to the comments section on YouTube. It's KBLA 1580 on YouTube, and there's always lots of good conversation going on there. So we're in the season, as you well know, Jaya, when there's things piling up on the governor's desk and he has to choose what to sign and what not to sign. And there are a couple reparations related things that I've been really pushing folks to call the governor and weigh in on. He has until Sunday to sign stuff. But I've also been talking a lot about AB715 and urging him to veto it and urging us to call and write and ask him to veto it. It is something that's been jammed through the legislature really quickly, and it is basically a censorship bill. It's meant to muzzle teachers and students who speak out against the actions of Netanyahu and the Israeli um, regime. And they'll call it anti-Semitism. This was actually opposed by all of the unions, the teachers union most of all. It was opposed by the ACLU, Black Lives Matter, and I mean, just an array of folks, CARE, the Council of Islamic American Relations, and much, much more. And yesterday, Governor Gavin Newsom signed it into law. I was hoping he wouldn't do it.
AB 715, right?
Yeah, AB 715. Okay, so this is they say, quote unquote, to strengthen the fight against hate and anti-Semitism and discrimination in schools. But one of the things that this does, it's Scott Wiener, Jesse Gabriel, and the California Legislative Jewish Caucus. It creates a an agency, and I think it's a bureau within or a department within the California state legislature, which is tasked with rooting out anti Semitic teachers. So it's like a McCarthy uh, body for so called anti Semitism. And what they mean by that is teachers who say anything about Palestine, who support the Palestinian people in any way. And this is going to be, I think it's going to just have a chilling effect. It will allow them to bypass the union and fire or sanction teachers who teach about Palestine.
Yeah. And that is where the question comes in. The true educators, this is a time for them to separate anti-Semitism from anti-Zionism. Those are two different things. You can be against the Zionist movement led by Netanyahu and be against anti-Semitism. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. And that's where I could see problems coming in, is where people who are against the genocide and, for lack of a better term, the Holocaust against the Palestinian people currently taking place, I could see there being a big effect on those who are anti that, who want to go against that and speak against that, and with people claiming that it's anti-Semitic. And that's where I see the problem in this line. One of the biggest problems in this. But as I read the bill, I saw that there were certainly some other issues that could come about as well.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to getting your take on that. It establishes an Office of Civil Rights. Okay, it sounds good, Office of Civil Rights, but what does it only have? An anti-Semitism prevention coordinator. He also signed SB 48, which is meant to go with it, which creates 4 statewide discrimination prevention coordinators, who they claim are focused on religious, racial, ethnic, gender, and LGBTQ discrimination. But the centerpiece of this is anti-Semitism. At a time when it appears that anti-Blackness is being emboldened, right? The feds have shut down all of the anti-Black discrimination investigations and oversights of police departments and other institutions. They are banning DEI. So anything that helps Black people is now basically illegal or banned or shut down. But we're opening an anti-Semitism prevention coordinator headquarters. And it's not because you just said it beautifully. It's not because I think anti-Semitism is good, but their definition of anti-Semitism right now is so broadly defined that it means you can't support the Palestinian people. And that's censorship. It's government interference. It's forcing people to support the agenda of a foreign government. How is that constitutional? How is it even legal? And you know what? F Governor Newsom. F him if he signed that. Oh, whoops. Sorry. Beep. I'm so mad right now because he's going around acting like he's Mr. Progressive. Oh, I'm trolling the president on Twitter. And then he gonna pass this? Are you kidding me?
Well, we know he has presidential ambitions. And what that can look like or mean, oftentimes is, synonymous with supporting the Jewish community, making sure you have the support. I'm not sure that we've had a president in recent times, and the Jewish community is vast. Not
I
every
was
Jewish
just about to
person
say that there
is
are
a
tons
Zionist.
of Jewish people who are against this bill. It's not
Yeah.
back to your point. It's not the Jewish community that he's supporting. It's Israel.
Yes, and that's where the issue is going to come to play, and that's where um, people in California, including the educators, really need to stand up, because there is a great opportunity with this bill to have a chilling effect, so to speak, like a real one, like really get people afraid to speak their truth. Um, I remember an instance with my own father, who was a real scholar.
Yes.
Wouldn't say things
Dr.
without
Kwaku.
researching, or Dr. Kwaku Person-Lynn wouldn't say things without researching, re-researching, and ensuring that what he had to say was accurate. And he wrote an article once about the Jewish involvement in the slave trade, and there was real backlash in the Jewish community. And he used to do the African Mental Liberation Weekend, so on and so forth. That on KPFK, and that was one of the results. That wasn't it, but that was one of the results. Him not doing that anymore. And
I didn't realize that.
But I remember going with him to the Jewish part of town and getting the newspapers and seeing like the vitriol and the hate for him, calling him anti-Semitic. And then there was one Jewish researcher, I forget the name, but he said he was going to go to the library and prove my father wrong. And it was the biggest business of the time, and people would have to, in Europe, would have to, get loans to fund these expeditions, and then they sell the slaves, pay the loans back. And so there was the evidence, the historical evidence was there. And so when that researcher found it, it was like, all right, well, it wasn't a lie that Dr. Kwaku Person-Lynn was saying, but the response to that, to the truth being out, was not loud or out there the same way as the initial response. That
of course, the retraction is never as loud as the retraction was never as loud as the accusation. Yeah, we're going to keep this going. I've interviewed Dr. Kwaku Person-Lynn many times, and he is a brilliant scholar. I know he's retired right now. 800-920-1580 if you want to weigh in. Attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn, we were talking about scholar Kwaku Person-Lynn, but really we're talking about AB715 and what's happening in the state of California, the allegedly blue state. We'll keep it going when we come forward.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now, I can't wait to delve into Attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn's legal mind and his thoughts on 715 and what we can do about it now that it is the law of this supposedly blue state. But I want to go to Mike from Kansas City first. Hi, Mike. You have the mic.
Yes,
good morning.
Yes. Good morning, and thanks for taking my call. I am in Missouri, which outside of Kansas City and St. Louis is largely MAGA. So what that bill from California will probably be here at some point. Question. We have high school students that are really up on history. So if a student says, teacher, I understand that Jewish settlements are being built on Palestinian lands in violation of international law. Teacher, is that true? How should the teacher answer that, considering this bill?
Ooh, well,
documented history.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a teacher. If I was one, I'd go pull out an article and read directly from the New York Times, Washington Post, or something like that. Attorney Person-Lynn, what would you do?
I would guide that student to which international law, to have them see what international law are you violating, and then we go study that law, and then we compare the actions that we know are documented here in real time to that law, and have a discussion on that, and let the students decide whether it's lawful or not. That's how I would approach it.
All right. Well, you might want to be giving that advice to teachers, because I could, with some of the kids that we know, National Black United Front here in Kansas City, we bring our children to it, and they are up on. We even had several years ago a member of a Palestinian organization come and speak to us. So we've had people like Leonard Jeffries, Sharshi McIntyre, may she rest in peace, come and speak with us, and our children are there, so they know these things, and I can see them bringing that up in a Missouri classroom when that Missouri law
and by the way, that
here.
student could also be reported to the new, Israel NARC agency, or, office. I guess it's an office, not an agency. The new Netanyahu California branch headquarters. So that student could also get in trouble for asking that question. Maybe all of our teachers need to be lawyers so they can respond as skillfully as Attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn just did.
Or some in-service for teachers where this might come up. So I didn't mean to cut you off. So thanks again for taking my question. And real quick, adding to that, there's an interesting article in today's Guardian. Country superstar Zach Bryan criticized by U.S. Homeland Security over ICE lyrics. It's a funny article. So thanks again for taking my call. All right, bye.
Bye. What were you saying, Jaaye?
Well, it's one part, as I was reading the bill in preparation for our discussion this morning, that was it just gave me some pause, and I'll read it directly. It says, this bill would establish that discriminatory bias in instruction and school-sponsored activities does not require a showing of direct harm to members of a protected group, and would not require members of a protected group to be present while the discriminatory bias is occurring for the act to be considered discriminatory bias. if the governing board or body of the local educational agency finds that instruction or school-sponsored activities are discriminatory as provided, the bill would require corrective action to be taken as provided. And so that just, in my view, broadens the scope. It's like saying, hey, if you're not around, if you're not harmed by it, but we think it could potentially cause harm, then we still have to take corrective action, which, you know, can be up to firing, disciplining, sanctioning, so on and so forth. And so that's, that part right there just broadens the scope so much. It makes me wonder, would this bill stand up to a constitutional challenge, which I'm sure is coming.
I hope so. I hope the challenge is coming. To me, it's ironic, and maybe you can speak to this because we only have a minute right now, but maybe we can extend this question after news, traffic, and sports. It seems to me that on the federal level, they've been narrowing what we can call discrimination, right? Didn't the Supreme Court just rule something about how you raise the bar about how you have to prove harm if you're a business and you want to sue for discrimination? But now some random state office you don't have to be there. No one has to be harmed. We can just think it might harm someone in the future. I mean, that could apply to anything. It could apply to a black student union. It could apply to anything. Like you said, it's so broad. It's like, if we don't like it, we can punish you for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, so what?
Yeah. So where are the parameters? Mm-hmm. Are we making it harder for black people or anybody, Latinos, anybody, to prove discrimination in the federal courts, but allowing a state body with no legal foundation to just say, okay, you're anti-Semitic and you're anti-Semitic and you're anti-Semitic? And what is the standard for that? There's no standard of proof. You don't have to prove harm. You don't have to, what? I maybe you can help me understand this when we continue on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The family of Kevin Rodriguez Zavala is outraged Universal Orlando reopened its Stardust Racers coaster just weeks after his death. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump calls it a public threat.
He was safe on every roller coaster he rode on until he was killed on your roller coaster.
The ride is part of an active death investigation. Jackson, Mississippi's new black mayor, John A. Horn, will deliver his first State of the City address Thursday at 5:30 p.m. at the Jackson Convention Complex. He's expected to highlight his first 100 days and outline plans for infrastructure, safety, and economic growth. And LeBron James teased a big announcement called The Second Decision, sparking retirement rumors, but it turned out to be a new ad for Hennessy. The NBA legend, now 40, enters his 23rd season as an unrestricted free agent. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Want to save a few bucks this season? Then head over to your local Big O Tires for their Save a Buck sales event. You'll save up to $250 on select sets of tires with paid installation through October 19th. The Save a Buck sales event, now at your local Big O Tires.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers are back in town tonight for Game 3 of their playoff series with the Philadelphia Phillies. The Dodgers have a 2-0 lead in the best of 5. They can eliminate the Phillies with a win. The Dodgers are 4-0 in the postseason. First pitch tonight at 6 p.m. Colorado football coach Deion Sanders had minor surgery Tuesday to help relieve pain and possible blood clots in his left foot. Deion complained of pain in his foot and left leg during Saturday's game at Texas Christian. It's uncertain if the 58-year-old coach will be at practice today. Colorado was at home Saturday against Iowa State. Deion's son Shador has been elevated to the number 2 quarterback spot on the Cleveland Browns roster. Rookie Dylan Gabriel is the Browns starter after 18-year veteran Joe Flacco was traded Tuesday to Cincinnati. The Browns are at Pittsburgh on Sunday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
September is World Alzheimer's Month, a time to shine a light on a public health crisis that hits Black families hardest. 1 in 5 Black adults ages 70 and older is living with Alzheimer's disease, or AD, and it's not a normal part of aging. Early signs like repeating questions, missed appointments, even trouble handling bills might seem small, but they matter. The good news? There are treatment options available that may slow AD when diagnosed early. Don't wait. Visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com to learn more. This message is brought to you by AZI.
Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at KBLA1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community-focused. So just go to KBLA1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-729-7070. That's 1-800-729-7070. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-729-7070. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure. Now, 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft in a breach or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights, because let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, you're also waking up with attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn. So it was two things that I was thinking of and something else that I couldn't find. But anyway, attorney Person-Lynn, the Cummings versus Premier Rehab Keller supposedly makes it harder to sue for discrimination, saying that you can't get damages if your only injury is emotional distress. You have to have physical injury or financial harm. And then this recent ruling that makes it easier to sue for reverse discrimination because you just have a lower burden of proof. So it feels like they're making it harder for Black people and Latinos, Asians, Muslims to sue or get any kind of justice when they're discriminated against, and removing DEI. But now this California law, AB715, says if we even think that you're thinking about something that we don't like, we can punish you for it. Is that an exaggeration, what I just said?
No, unfortunately, and it's the implementation of it is going to be very interesting to watch, and something that everyone should be paying attention to here in California. because that there's a fine line and between, protecting people and limiting free speech, right? I tell people all the time, if the KKK was rejected for a permit to peaceably assemble just on the strength that they were the KKK, I would have a problem with that. I disagree with their messaging, obviously, but we're either for free speech or we're not. And so in this circumstance, this could really have an effect where teachers are afraid to address anything, and then it would put the Jewish messaging above everyone else's, because because in the bill it has, like, you have to consult with the Anti-Defamation League to determine whether something is anti-Semitic or not. And so that basically gives this group a lot of power in determining the messaging that can be given to our children in public schools or any schools that receive education dollars from California. And so that's something that we really have to be cognizant of, be aware of as we move forward in this process, because it is quite scary that one group could have that much power over the messaging and the education system here in California, a group of 1 million in a state of 40 million.
Yeah, and when you think about it, I mean, regardless of where you are politically, the ADL refused to condemn Elon Musk when he threw up that Nazi symbol salute, but they consider the Nation of Islam a hate group, even though the Nation of Islam doesn't go around killing and threatening anybody, as far as I know.
Yeah, no, and that's it's further to that messaging, and so there's a distinct question out there on what is what, right? Because if we're reading the Bible, and this is many of the groups, whether it be the Nation of Islam, the Hebrew Israelites, so on and so forth, because this is, let's be clear, there's other people of the Jewish faith that that are not like Hasidic Jews, or I forget the other term, but that ultimately came here from Europe and that were subjected to the Holocaust. There's other groups of Jewish people that are not necessarily intertwined with the ADL or Israel as a country, and so these are not these groups that are pushing this or making these waves. These are the groups of Jewish people that did come from Europe. And so you're going to have people, especially Black people, looking at it as, wow, this is just empowering another white group, when we have so much anti-Blackness in practice, in words, in deeds, that does not get addressed, that does not get the same protections. And so it can be quite unsettling for people in the Black community and beyond who suffer these real.
I mean, to be honest with you, I did not think the governor was going to sign this, because I feel like with him issuing this ultimatum to universities, if you acquiesce to the Trump MAGA pledge, we will defund you from a state level. It would be just way too hypocritical for him to censor teachers a la the Trump MAGA pledge, while threatening to defund our universities if they do it on the federal level. So I just thought that would be way too hypocritical. And yet here we are. And for me, it begs the question, clearly he does want to be president. He's been trolling President Trump in a way that's been very effective. It's making Dems embrace him as maybe he's the standard bearer to go up against MAGA. Maybe he's the one that's unlocked the formula to get under their skin and win. But if this is winning, I don't think it's the answer. If winning means censoring our teachers, our students, if winning means doubling down on the harassment of students, if winning means censorship coming from a blue state governor rather than a red state governor, I don't see the win there.
Yeah, and that's something that really needs to be addressed. And even with this Prop 50 that's going on,
right?
It's one of those things where, like, wow, I understand it. I certainly get it. I even understand from the Jewish perspective, right? Because I believe that was the Charlottesville where they were with the tiki torches and they were marching.
Yes.
Jews will not replace us. Jews will not replace us. I'm like, man, they weren't saying blacks. They weren't saying Mexicans. They were saying Jews. So based on the history, and that chant and that particular circumstance, I understand the desire to want to protect oneself, and I understand the desire to want to kind of hold the line for the Democrats by Governor Newsom, but none of this stuff is arbitrary. Like, you can't do it without there having a significant impact. Maybe that you don't want or desire, but the impact is going to be there one way or the other.
But Governor Gavin Newsom, say whatever you want to about him. He is smart. He's not an idiot. He knows what this is going to do, and he signed it anyway. And that's part of what bothers me. If he was some dunce, who's just like, oh, protect Jewish people. Yeah, that's not even controversial to me. Anti-Semitism is bad. I feel like I shouldn't even have to say that. Hate is bad, but I'll say it and I'll say it and I'll say it again. But censorship is also bad. And in this environment that we're in, where clearly Black people and scholars and Muslims and Palestinian discourse is being suppressed, why would you sign something like this in a blue state that may be the last bastion of freedom in this democracy? I don't know if you saw that article, Mother Jones, where they're actually advocating for a soft secession and saying that California needs to hold the line for democracy. I don't know what other state I'd live in right now. And yet you're going to do that? It means they have more freedom of speech in Alabama than we have in California.
And that's a perspective that, well, it sounds like it was addressed to the governor. It sounds like there were a lot of groups that were against this.
Yep.
But once again, it's one, I don't think it does. It's going to have a chilling effect in education, and I think it's going to have a detrimental effect to the Jewish community in the long run, saying like, hey, look, this is you trying to control the narrative again, and not wanting the truth to come out. And that's been one of the criticisms of the Jewish community throughout the years, and especially as of late. And so seeing how it's going to actually play out is going to be quite interesting. But ultimately, something you said earlier is that it does make California educational institutions like an arm of the Israeli propaganda machine. And that's something that I think especially the students here in California are going to resist and reject. And it may have more of a detrimental impact than was intended.
800-920-1580 if you want to weigh in. That is the number to call, 800-920-1580. Dominique DePrima and attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease or AD. But did you know that Black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? You may be able to reduce your risk by managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, being physically active, eating healthy, and exercising your mind. To learn more about AD, the importance of early diagnosis and intervention, and a potential treatment option, visit treatalzearly.com. That's treatalzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
Hello, KBLA delegation. Tavis Smiley here. On Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech becomes the epicenter of ideas that matter. The Left Coast Forum is bringing together voices that challenge, inspire, and illuminate, with keynote presentations from people like noted economist Richard Wolff, the man who breaks down capitalism in ways that make sense to working folk like you and me, and Dr. Cornel West will be there, the brilliant philosopher and activist who never stops fighting for justice and speaking truth to power and to the powerless, for that matter. So this isn't just another conference. This is where ideas get tested, where the conversations that shape our future begin. Multiple plenary sessions, dynamic speakers, real talk about the issues that impact our communities, and then some good food and a live band. Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech, Left Coast Forum. The event is free and open to the public, but you must register at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can also peep the plenary topics. The future belongs to those who show up and engage. So don't just think about change, be part of the conversation that creates it. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-687-7979. That's 800-687-7979. 800-687-7979.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, Attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn is here. So you point out that this AB715, which is what I brought up this morning because the governor signed it yesterday, along with SB 48, which basically create a 1-2 punch for censorship in California in the name of anti-Semitism. Now, I say it a million times, I'm against anti-Semitism, but I am also against using anti-Semitism as a cloak for censorship and or forcing people to support the Netanyahu agenda. What else did you find in this bill, Attorney Person-Lynn, that you thought, this could be a problem?
Well, one, just that, what I discussed earlier with the ADL, like having a broad say on what is or is not censorship. I think that's a very big deal and something that certainly needs to be addressed.
I mean, it's almost like making them an arm of the government, right?
Yes. And that is going to give them like significant power on what can be said, how it can be said, and all of those different aspects. And that's going to be very interesting to see how it ultimately all plays out in that regard, because these, like, there's real youth that are going to push back. Like, this is California. The state is known for real pushback from our collegiate and even K through 12 youth, and so just that like somebody can be somewhere. Oh, and it's the kind of anonymous tips part of it. I think that was created through, it's like calvhate.org, which was referenced in the bill and in the governor's statement related to the bill, and other political leaders' statements related to the bill. I think it's going to cause a huge problem that somebody could just call in and say, "Hey, this teacher's being anti-Semitic," and now we have like this big investigation going, for one, and for two, it is the fiscal impact that it will have. It's like if there is found to be materials that are anti-Semitic or promoting bigotry or hate, then it's something about a reimbursement that has to take place within that educational system. And so now, there might be 1,000 textbooks in this school district that has, this one line on this one page about Palestine. And now if that's deemed to be anti-Semitic, now we have to buy 1,000 new textbooks that don't mention Palestine. And then everything else that will go with that, like what else will be taken up? The same way as, we have the DEI, the destruction of DEI resulting in, Jackie Robinson's military history being taken off the Department of War's, or it was Department of Defense at the time, but the Department of War's website. Just all of those smaller impacts that we're not aware of now, like how many Black people who spoke against, Jewish shop owners charging exorbitant interest, which, to my understanding, had a lot to do with the Watts uprising in the 60s. How many of those people will be erased from history because they're deemed anti-Semitic? And it's going to be a lot of problems like that aren't, quick to be seen at the surface. But as time passes, we'll see a lot of erasure of, I think, a lot of Black people on the claim that they were being anti-Semitic. I mean, just think, like, can Malcolm X now be discussed in schools?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I mean, I think there's other things too. You mentioned that this will probably be challenged in court, which means the state of California, which is supposedly cash strapped, is now committing to spending a whole bunch of money to defend a stupid law.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to have the desired impact in the long run. May even have the opposite of that impact, because we're in Los Angeles. Newsom's from San Francisco, but there are other parts of California that are going to feel this as well, and it's those Bakersfield, Fresno parts of California that I think are going to really feel this and feel like they're being censored and want to respond accordingly as well.
I mean, Code Pink also points out that we already have a teacher shortage, and teachers are vowing to fight this even if the governor signs it. Some teachers may quit. They may, if they're going to be in conflict with the government. The Code Pink says California lawmakers back censorship disguised as anti-Semitism prevention. And the teachers' unions have stood against it, so now we're setting up another battle.
That's exactly what we're doing. And, just what that kind of impact will have on our society and the children and their education. It's not going to be easy fix, and it's not going to be something. Well, and it could have been addressed in other ways without the censorship, without the restriction. That's something else that I think should be noted, is that this was not the only way to address this issue. And how do we know that? Because it's never been addressed like this for Black people.
Right.
I mean, there's whatever you did to curb anti-Blackness, that same thing should have been done. But I could not find anything to this level of anti-Blackness being protected in this way or being prevented in this way. And, like I said, I ultimately believe that it's going to be more problematic than it will be helpful.
The Santa Barbara Independent says AB715 is California's MAGA in disguise. The bill seeks to erase the Palestinian narrative and attack public education. And if you think about these, these MAGA operatives that go in and target teachers, target professors, try to videotape people and then edit it and mislead people about what teachers are doing and how they've targeted progressives. This can become a tool for them that will make it simple and effective to remove any professor. You just have to have an anonymous student complain and boom, it's on.
Yeah. And that's, going to be a huge problem. I see in with this whole thing. It's not going to be something that is going to be helpful to our society in the long run. And just that chilling effect, that chilling impact that so many are going to have to suffer through, I think is going to be the kind of thing that really breeds dissension in our society. And makes people feel, nobody wants to feel like another group is put ahead of them. But that's ultimately what this bill does, is like puts another group ahead of everybody else. Like nobody else gets this level of support from the government. And that's going to make, and that alone might be the constitutional violation that is looked at, because it's not just broad and specific. Like there's no other, it's not the NAACP has to be addressed. It's only the Anti-Defamation League.
Right.
And I think that may be the issue that has the court strike down at least that portion of the bill.
Gonna have to leave it there. I hope you'll come back and talk more with me. Attorney Jaaye Person-Lynn, thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Summer.
All right, news, traffic, and sports now.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The family of Kevin Rodriguez Zavala is outraged. Universal Orlando reopened its Stardust Racers coaster just weeks after his death. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump calls it a public threat.
He was safe on every roller coaster he rode on until he was killed on